Hello, welcome back, folks, to Maincast Winter Brawl's playoffs. Day number 2, second best of 3 of the day. We have worked out 3 of the people who make it through to the next stage. We need one more team. It comes down to these two: Nemiga Gaming versus the Gentlemen. And well, Cap, you've seen the Gentleman name before. Nemiga, they've been lurking around the background a bit more. And would you say it would be fair if you were going in this blind, you'd say Gentlemen have a better chance of winning, right?
Yes, but not like
by
I wouldn't
a
say
mile.
that super convincingly. Yeah, sure. Only because I know Gentleman had a good qualifier. So
Yes.
that is more than I could say for Nemiga, right? I don't
No, they didn't have a
really
great
think they
time.
did super well.
But what if I
Like,
told you Nemiga beat OG Seed at the start of this tournament?
yeah. So, like, going into this group stage, that definitely gives me a lot more interest in Nemiga. Because otherwise, I would have just probably written them off. And to be perfectly honest, if they beat Gentlemen, I would have been like, okay, but like those are probably two teams that neither one had a chance of going to the grand finals in the first place. This is your semifinal walkover.
Yeah.
But like we'll see. It's a new patch, and teams like this that probably don't get as much notice. And to be fair, like I only covered like the CIS. I watched some of the CIS close qualifier, and I watched some of those games, but I haven't kept a super close eye. So more than anything, I'm just interested to see, to just kind of learn. I'm always part of the problem is I'm always a little bit timid about expecting good things from a team that I see some very old names on from the CIS region. For whatever reason, it's just like it's just kind of been that way where I've cast a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 CIS Dota in the past. And it's just like whenever I see certain names, I'm just like, ooh, that can't be a good team. And to be honest, BZZ is just one of them, right? Like 633. He's been around for a really long time, and his heyday was like 4 years ago or
2013,
something.
14, I want to say. I think he's been around that long
Yeah,
as well.
it was a long time ago,
His
right?
his high point was when he got a set based on him. And
Yeah,
that
and
was the low point for him in all of our eyes because it's all we ever got in those random rolls when you leveled up in Dota back in those days.
yeah, and same goes with Vanscore, right? Like they both kind of had like the same sort of peak. And then I know Chu, and Chu is like a newer name that had some success. He was on that Navi roster. Got sniped away from Empire by Navi. That was the that was the time where that was what Navi just did to every CIS
They just
org.
pointed at someone with the kind of the point, the finger of choice. But then he fell out of favor in Navi. There were a lot of complaints about his performances there. So it feels like
Yeah.
then when you round out of 19T and PO, 19T I've seen some potential out of. He's had some really great performances on like Invoker in the past, but he's incredibly inconsistent as well.
Yeah. So it's like for me, I'm just here to learn. I'm going to clear away any expectations of any kind of play one way or another, and just learn what some pretty good players think about this patch.
Yeah, just enjoy some dotes. And it's kind of interesting actually, because like after we said all that, I just checked the odds for GG Bet. Nemiga sit at 1.55, Gentlemen at 2.35. So that OGC, the way that Nemiga ran them over in that game definitely seems to have impacted people's perspective of these two teams coming to this. And also, in fairness, if Nemiga do win this, that would mean none of the teams that were invited to the playoff phase of this tournament would have made it past the first round of the playoff. Which is a little bit awkward.
Yeah, that is awkward. Yeah, that's awkward for multiple reasons. Nemiga have a core Magnus, and I'm super hyped for it. I hope it's a safe lane mag. I love watching this hero. I don't like playing against it, but I love watching it. Just in some sadistic part of me just really likes watching this Magnus hit for 400 damage and have 3,000 HP.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, like how we all just love it's that kind of thing. Remember when Kunkka multiple dataless Divine Rapier always happened, and we loved watching it. We didn't really appreciate dying in one hit to it. It's that type of style, right? Doom as well. Like, you know, when I'm playing Doom in my games, I feel great. But if I'm gonna be doomed in those games, I'm gonna hate everything about the game. It reminds me of back when I started playing Dota, which was like 2012, 2013. And it was always Doom and Batrider that were the most picked and banned. And thinking back, it felt like one of the best and most horrible times in Dota. Because it was just like these two heroes, like Doom especially, he's always been that hero where it's like you literally can't play the game. I'm just gonna doom you, and then you don't get to play Dota anymore. Okay, well, all the other kids are building sandcastles in the little playpen area. You have to sit on the bench and watch. Definitely some relapsing memories of Doom coming out there. But Beastmaster, another dominant force that you can run in that off lane, and makes me wonder what Gentleman's final pick is here. Are they looking at something like maybe a Drow?
Yes, I was thinking about Drow this entire time. The Drow I suggested last series, what I really took from that, because when I suggested it, the enemy team immediately snap picked PL, and I went, oh yeah, that would have like really killed your draft if you drafted Drow Ranger in that point. I think Drow Ranger, as strong as she is, she still defines your lineup in a very big way, and you kind of need to save it for the end of a picking phase. So you need to save it for, if your first pick, you need to save it for this point where Nemiga are about to pick, and if you are second pick like Gentlemen have, then you save it for very last picking spot, which very likely means it's not going to go through.
I'd hope not, especially after pick Legion. I don't feel like Legion matches up well against the Drow on the lane, and also the interesting part about Drow in this type of lineup is it's not even as much about her, it's about the Viper. And the Viper just becomes a brutal force of reckoning in the map. Especially when you have the Beastmaster just to kind of sellotape together all this attack speed and this damage buff on everyone else.
5 seconds remaining.
Actually, like even
So the more I look at this, I think it's more and more likely that Nemiga are running a safe lane mag and 3 Legion with a 4 Doom. I don't think you are one to run mid Magnus against Viper, nor do I think you're going to get the kind of hero you need out of safe lane. I personally think that if you drafted mid Magnus and safe lane Troll with Legion command, I think that lineup gets run over.
no.
I don't know. Maybe I just have the wrong read on the game, but I'm pretty sure your lineup's too slow.
No, I think you're right. And weirdly enough, they banned the Slark as well, which is surprising to me. Like, yeah, the Legion suffers on that lane, but okay. All right, this isn't revealing anything yet either, because Nemiga could be running the Lycan or the Mag in the mid, and vice versa for the safe lane. But there's been a lot more Lycans played in the mid recently, a few in the off lane as well. This hero has definitely gained a little bit more flexibility than he used to have.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know why. I keep thinking about Sven. I don't actually like Sven that much right now. I just keep thinking about it. What's another, like, kind of stand there, do things core?
Dusa.
Terrorblade was the hero I was going to say. I wasn't going to say Dusa. Holy crap, that's a Medusa.
It is, without a Drow as well, was the other piece I was about to say, which is the really surprising part.
Dude, we were memeing about Medusa at One Esports.
Oh, yeah.
Because that hero just seems really bad. And then somebody picked it. And we were just like, wait, what? Somebody picked Medusa? Like, what the hell? Like, we all thought that was like the worst hero in the game. And it didn't win. So, you know, at least it went down in a 0% win rate. But just the fact that it was picked says that some pro players think that it's not the worst hero in the game and that it's actually okay. So,
10 seconds remaining.
I think it'll work. It feels good to me in the Drow lineups. Because you get, like, the problem with Medusa is you have this awkward point, which is, like, usually 4 or 5 minutes too late when you're ready to start fighting, right? And you're not the fastest fighter. So if you have something like a Drow, because of the way marksmanship works now, it makes you into this 5-man push lineup so much quicker with Medusa, and that's what she really needs, right? She's not this fast, rapid hero. She slowly slithers across the map and aims to, once she goes into the base, never come out of it. But I'm interested to see what it can do. Stone Gaze did get some interesting changes. There was definitely a hard nerf on the changes to the snake. Now not stealing mana, instead just fabricating it.
Yeah, that's the part that really everybody thought neutered the hero, because that was the OP part about Medusa in the previous patch, was that she would get that level 15 talent, and steal 50% of your mana, and that can make or break team fights in a lot of time. And to have a hero that is traditionally thought of as a hard carry that scales very slowly, for that person to be so impactful, felt kind of overpowered. So we all saw that. We all thought that the hero was kind of broken, in the bad way. They killed what was good about the hero. I still kind of feel that way, but I will give there's some things that I did not realize, such as like Stonegaze is actually really good in team fights now, because of how much movement speed it gives you. It gives you 25% movement speed.
Yeah, you can actually press it and not just feel like, unless there's already a hard commitment onto you, it sucks. Now you can like press R, it's like, oh, okay, you're trying to run away? Don't worry, I'm quicker. I'll actually catch you up.
Yeah. It's like when you initially see the changes, right? You see the
You see the mana
bonus
element.
physical damage that you get out of Stone Gaze, right? And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that's cool,
But
but how do I actually get people to get Stone Gaze? Well, now you have this like big movement speed, so you can chase people. You can actually chase people down that are running away from you. That was a big problem, is you pop Stone Gaze and everyone would just turn around and run away. Or run around you to go to your back line and stuff. Now the movement speed actually allows you to get in front of people if they try and go around you, to make sure they get stoned, or in the other situation, if they run away, for you to chase them down. And then you've also got the Mystic Snake to slow them when they run away. So it actually proves to be a kind of okay team fight combination. I'm not sold by it, but it's better than I anticipated.
I agree. I think the problem with it before is, even though it's only a 90-second cooldown, Stone Gaze kind of made you feel like when you miss a black hole, like, I'm going to do this, the hero blinks away and you hit nothing at all. It felt the same way, right? Whenever Medusa hits the Stone Gaze, you just stand there like, oh no. And you knew what was coming next, which is they will just turn around in a few seconds and kill me because I'm still slow. At least this way, if you have a really bad Stone Gaze, you have the movement speed to actually retreat now, which is something you never had before. But we'll be laning up against the Legion. I haven't really seen this matchup too much, especially considering last patch when a few Medusas were being picked. They were being picked as a mid. That was around the time we had the ridiculous Wraith Band shenanigans that enabled her to be so ridiculous with like 4 Wraith Bands.
Yeah, I assume this is a free lane for Legion Commander. If you go the max out, press the attack build, which I believe that's what you should be going for most builds on Legion right now. You can clear out the Thunderstrike every single time it's placed on you, and you'll have generally enough sustain to deal with the Medusa's annoying but very minimal damage that she's putting in. Right? Medusa's not a heavy hitter. She has 55 damage with an extra 6 stats at the start of the game. Her base damage is terrible.
True. And at the same time, there's some really good creeps for running her down because she's so slow already. If you get your hands on a Ghost or a Kobold, which, this is a Doom support, so you can afford to go shopping at level 2. Or even level 1 in this case, as he did take Devour to start. I see this sometimes. I feel as if you can't get a kill with Scorched Earth or Harass early on, you just use the Devour to guarantee the range creep. You're basically new Lich when you think about it that way. But you become a funner version of Lich at level 2.
As expected, the mid lane is going to be tough for the Magnus. It's going to be a regen lane where he's just going to have to funnel quite a lot.
Yeah, but the difference is that once you reach a certain point, you can outfarm this Viper, right? Like, Viper always has to rely on the lane because you don't go for this never toxin build anymore. Whereas Mag, you always prioritize your Q and your W, so you should get the means to farm up the jungle quickly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of build he goes for, right? Because they picked Lycan as well as Legion Commander, so I have to assume this means this 2 Magnus is going Aghanim Scepter. And a little less so, like he'll still go the right-click build, but I think he needs Aghanim Scepter, where a lot of safe lane mags don't want the Ags. They just build into raw damage because they basically say, I only need 1 skewer to get into the fight, and once I'm there at the fight, I'm going to win the fight with my damage. This Magnus, I think if you build damage, you're going to be too slow.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
and
yeah.
you're going to be one that's utilizing the jungle the most as well, so you can get more value out of using that to flash farm between. Whereas a Lycan
where's he
typically
going?
wants to be on the lane. I don't.
Okay, he's got a backline.
Yeah, he's just gonna grab the creeps. I haven't seen this often against Vipers, just because it's like super high risk, right? But they do have the heroes to punish him for it. Thinking maybe more in the Rubik, although then again, like there it is. I'm about to say Vansko's probably gonna reveal that he doesn't have Glimpse, so Mello could just TP away if need be. He's just sitting there like, this is less painful than dealing with the Viper, yeah. Like you just tickled,
he's
buddy.
probably right. Like you really start hard losing the lane once he gets level 2 poison attack. Because again, these level 2 abilities, doubling the damage means you have this insane power spike. And since poison attack stacks, then doubling the damage and getting 5 stacks on somebody, it's a world of difference.
Yeah, that's why Viper usually gets banned at the moment. It's just the de facto mid. There's not really any hero that wants to match up against this hero in the lane right now.
Yeah.
Another example of a hero where we've basically become full circle on this. It used to be that Viper last patch was, screw it, I'll just max out my Never Toxin and farm stacks in the jungle. Now it's like, I'm just going to crap on anyone you leave me alone with. Especially if you're a melee hero, even more so. They need to have this victory in the mid lane, especially considering they have the Medusa. You know that PO is going to be slower to get online and get involved just by the way that his hero works. So I guess the bot lane's the interesting one. Well, not right now,
Yeah,
but in terms of what
BZZ
happens.
is not doing as well as I thought he would have. I thought his CS would be higher, honestly.
I think Feral Impulse is deceptive like that, though, right? 'Cause it just gives you the means to easily deny out a Beastmaster once you reach level 4.
Yeah,
Now
I
that he's
guess
reached
so.
that.
I just thought the Beastmaster with his boar would be able to contest CS against Lycan still.
This is just some sort of dark animal fight arena right now, is what
It
you
is.
realize?
Yeah, it's fitting that it's in the bottom lane because it really is an underground dog fighting sort of scenario here.
We're going to have to cut the stream short because Petta's going to shut us down at this rate.
Yeah.
Especially considering you'll see the Helmet Dominator eventually as well, so the number of pets just increase. I wonder what the Legion is going to go for this game. Is it going to be probably the pipe build is the usual, but there isn't. I mean, it's the Viper you're worried about, so I understand the pipe. Even if you win this lane, I don't feel like this is a good game where you'd rush Blink or some sort of item to get active with fuels.
Yeah, they just need better answers to Viper. Because they have a lot of melee heroes, and the only one who's going to be able to really ignore Viper is Lycan. Lycan is actually very good versus Viper, right? Because he brings a lot of units to the table, he has this max movement speed, and he delivers physical damage. Like, checks all the boxes that you need against a Viper. But everyone else is going to suffer, and so they need something to defend against that magic damage. And sure enough, the Chosen One is having a fantastic laning phase.
Furby, not so much, as he gives up first blood. He casually walked into the lane and Chu, without hesitation, dragged him towards the Viper. Not sure what made him feel powerful enough to walk up like that, considering Mello doesn't want to be anywhere near it. Still only level 4. But desperate, just trying to keep that tower up, because Viper's that type of hero that will punish you hard if you just lose the tower too early. No one can then sit in the lane.
Yeah, this is my part of the problem with my lineup, right? Is if I lose my mid tower and Mag wants to default jungle because Magnus is really good at it, how do you default jungle? Who's creating the space for you? You've lost your mid tower, so it's easy to invade. who's drawing the ire of the Viper, right? It's not like Legion Commander's going to be running around killing people at 15 minutes. The Lycan can go ahead and kill somebody every 2 minutes with Shapeshift. There's not a lot of pressure there to keep the Viper from kind of walking at you and preventing you from farming. So,
and it feels like, almost feels like we're just going to repeat of last game, right? Where we're going to have to say that there's not really much catch for Nemiga. Like, the Magnus is the only thing you can play around, but your Doom and your Legion are the ones you're hoping have some sort of catch between them, but you're not going to be able to blink anytime soon on either of them. So, who's doing the catching? Because you need to slow them down somehow. Like, you already mentioned the Viper is just having his own way. The Medusa, you don't like the idea of facing off against that in the late game scenario. BZZ, yeah, he's not doing as well as the Lycan, but he's still finding something in this lane. Oh, Mello. He's got the skewer. And that's what you do. You find a kill onto a Rubik. But he doesn't want to actually go for it. Chew will stay alive barely with the stick, and Fervian feeds again.
oh, don't give him the kill, Chew! What the fuck?
What was the point of the turnaround there?
Dude, I don't know. Dude, why are people getting greedy? Just don't get greedy, dog. Just let your ally take the kill. It's a freebie.
He wants to feel like he's part of the experience, and now he is. He's permanently carved into the ground as a corpse.
I mean, maybe he wanted the free trip back to base. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know if that's good, but...
Mello is at least up to 6 now. I don't even know if he threatens the Viper at this stage with RP. I mean, the problem is he wants to farm, right? And he doesn't have a big mana pool. He did at least find a keen optic, so he will get something in the way of regen to at least sustain himself with the empowers and the shockwaves.
I love this happy penguin noise, by the way.
It's going soon, right? We're going to lose it in like a day or two.
Yeah, it's going away soon. It just makes me happy. I had a game where everybody was spamming it. Like, one person started it, and then, like, another person did it, and another person did it, and another person. It was just happy penguin going off on and on and on again.
Did they get the perfect sync up where, like, they can just spam it non-stop? Or was there still delay between?
No. And this was like during a pause or something. So once the game actually started, it was serious gamer mode time.
Whoa.
But
can't have that. I get to my lanes and people just keep firing fireworks and snowballs at me. Okay, Fervian.
Yeah, I never use all my consumables.
I always forget to. Mello.
Honestly, you know what? Pigeon. Oh, okay. This is important. Nice glitch.
Not nice enough. Mello will make it out. But lay your facts on me.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna ignore every single time Fervian dies. Like, I'm just gonna talk over it because at this point it's
He's
like
irrelevant.
stopping your commentary to cover a creep dying.
Exactly.
You know, like, who like, but the range creep's gonna die. Like, you don't do that, right? So.
oh, he's gonna devour the catapult, and that'll stop the push. Actually, no, that's probably, like, devouring a catapult to stop a push is probably more value than Fervian's life right now.
Yes, it really is.
All right, what we got? Real
this
jelly.
is a big kill.
Oh, there it is. RP coming out. Viper's finally punished for his greed and his aggression. And this time, Fervian didn't even die for it. I mean, the creep didn't even die for it.
The creep survived. He's actually not that far behind, right?
He's at 5
actually
now.
going to have level 6 pretty comfortably by like 12 minutes. He'll let Doom have the tome to get to level 7 because you want... the real thing for supports, if you have an idea about tomes, a lot of times people think it's about your ultimate. I think nowadays it's more about your level 7. BZZ just used ult, so he's maybe dead.
Yeah, and he's just done that to try and kill a creep. We'll walk away. 19-teen is here. Nephra needs to get the hell out. Shapeshift is running out soon. They will finally get the kill on Fervian. And glimpse away. Trying to get rid of the problems. 19-teen, he might go down. Nice shockwave ball through, but the ship just ran out. Astral moving forward. We'll be able to take him down with the assistance of the army. And now the Doom straight away on the BZZ. Easy duel win. Respect the pack leader's aura, folks.
Not bad at all.
Or die. That's just the other option. Or die.
Yeah, that was some dank game throwing right there.
Yeah. It feels like Viper, like, yeah, you see this all the time, right? When you have this hero, it's like, I just win my lane, very easy. And then they die. And you can tell they're frustrated at that point. He just casually goes bot and dies again. If he does this one more time, I think it's like your game is kind of over as the Viper.
Yeah, I mean, I think his game is already quite ruined. Just because he was supposed to utilize the how far ahead he was able to get in mid lane over the Magnus, but now he's died twice and the Magnus has been farming the entire time. Magnus caught up in net worth. That's really concerning for me.
Yeah, and you shouldn't...
This guy is going to have a continual problem with Lycan, so he needs to be ahead.
Exactly. And I think the other thing to look at is, they're just not respecting this small pickup. I can't say it enough. Like, this pack leader aura on Doom is just ridiculous right now. And then with the max scorched earth as well. Like, it almost feels as if Gentlemen felt that Nemiga didn't have any damage at this stage of the game. And they just assumed the only reason that Viper ever died was an RP. The man with the RP won't get a chance to use it as they commit the Primal Roar on the Static Storm. Shapeshift's been used though, so Neferet trying to get some payback. Vance will be dragged down. Rubik's held in the spot. Trying to pull him in and move away. Duel on the side means they'll find BCC. Hunting through will be able to clean up Rubik as well. So a 3-for-1 trade, and that was Gentleman's move to make.
So I actually don't like Nemiga's draft a whole lot, but I love the way they're playing it. Because the way Nemiga is playing it is their willingness, it's my favorite thing right now, willingness to group up early. That is all important. Every single time they're letting Gentlemen do these sort of like half-ass ganks where they have this like two-man gank squad or whatever, and they go into your jungle. And Nemiga, they brought all 5 heroes to that fight. I think that is all what the meta is about right now. Like, bring more numbers than the enemy. I keep on telling like all my allies this in my pubs. Like this patch is all about team fighting. Just bring more people to team fights than the enemy does, and you will win the game.
No, it's true. I keep yelling it as well. It's just this whole idea of bodying people, right? Especially around outposts is the big one. Because the beautiful thing is that people are starting to respect how valuable they are, and then you can turn them into objectives. But Gentlemen, the good news for them with that fight, at least, is that Nemiga took it in their own jungle, so it's not like they were able to convert it into an objective. And I will say that at least the Medusa was farming, but at the same time, she's the only one who's really having a game right now. And when I say that a Medusa's having a game at 13 minutes in, it doesn't overwhelm you with excitement, right? You're not like, this is going to win us the game in the next 10 minutes.
Pigeon, they're forcing this too hard. They're going to get Lycan soon.
Oh, Chain Frost coming out. BZZ trying to retreat away, but like I said, the Lycan is ready. Shapeshift, Primal Roars already came out, and BZZ has no way of protecting himself. And look at this, 19 Teen will TP away. Van's cool. Oh, no escape for 19 Teen. They thought about going for the Disruptor, but Astral was quick across with that maxed out Scorched Earth. Once again, as you said before, Cap, just outnumbering their opponents because they know this Medusa is never going to show up to the fights.
Dude, I saw that coming for like, they were standing in that bottom tower area for like 30 seconds trying to like decide whether or not they were going to dive or whatever. And, you know, I understand they wanted to take advantage of the Shapeshift being down, but they just waited so long. Now they're just like bleeding out heroes constantly.
Congo line of death. Like the Medusa just
this
TP'd
Lycan's going to carry the game.
Well, but I don't even understand the rotation at this point for the Medusa. She just... I mean, you might at this point, you're in for a penny and for a pound, right? You might as well get lost in the jungle for a little bit longer because they'll just now jump to the other side of the map and take your other towers.
Yeah. I think like they were telling him he needs to stand in front of towers and defend pushes, and that's true. It's what he needed to do, but obviously he was far too late. Lycan took that tower way too quickly. And now they need him to get involved because they're losing so many team fights, but I don't think he's ready.
Medusa is never truly
This will
ready.
be a good test of like the Medusa's team fight capabilities with the new Medusa.
Yeah, but I'd also say that another thing that makes Medusa feel a little bit weak in this type of game is the Skadi. Right? Like, it's high value against ranged heroes now. Top lane Mellow will be able to retreat in time, and the duel comes out in 19 Teen. They won't get the duel again, but they will get the kill. That's my kind of concern. To go back to the Skadi point, right? Is that they buff Skadi to be better against these ranged heroes. Something Nemiga do not have. So despite having the Skadi, they still have the means to get on top of the Medusa and do some serious damage to her.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
BZZ?
He's just doing what he does. He's the new Fervin.
Yeah, I mean, he TP'd as fast as he could. Like, within reason, the moment that Nefrit showed himself, he TP'd out, and the damage still came too quickly. Because this Lycan is mega farmed. He's got Necro 3, Helma Dominator, 16 minutes.
There isn't anything that stops him either, right? It's like, usually against these kind of overwhelming, fast-moving heroes, you're like, oh, we got a Disruptor, we'll glimpse away. Doesn't matter. The army will kill the Disruptor in that scenario, so he can't show. Rubik with a lift won't save his life either. Medusa will stone gaze and try and run away, but he just buys a little bit of time, and if it's early in the shapeshift, he can still keep chasing. I don't know. This is an insanely scary Lycan game, and I just don't see them getting a solution to it anytime soon.
I hope Viper's willing to drop that shawl, because I don't think the -3 armor is helping him out a whole lot when it's the Lycan's physical damage that is ruining his game.
He's just trying to match piece for piece, right? He hears him say wolves need no armor. He's like, well, you know, Vipers, they need no armor as either. I'm an Agi hero. I'll be fine, guys.
Nether Drakes need no armor.
There you go. Walking green carpets need no armor. He's about as useful as a
like
carpet
he
right
walks away from his tower, he's at 5 armor only.
It's pretty bad. It's only 2.5 Agi gain. You start with low armor. It's meant to be the balance point of this hero, but...
So they gave up Roshan, which I think they should have known about because they were taking bottom lane and nobody was showing.
But I feel it's like something you have to forfeit at this point. Like, you have some big ultimates in the pit, but you have a Medusa who's still not useful.
Yeah, that was basically what I was implying, is that they must have decided that they're not strong enough to fight. Which is probably correct.
Things will calm down for a sec, but not for long as they jump on the bot lane and they find the Viper again. And 19 team, now 5 deaths. This is... It started so well and has gone so wrong so quickly. From being the top dominant force to now the lowest net worth alongside his Beastmaster. And they'll find that Beastmaster's BZZ. Can't even get anyone low enough to kill off with him. Somehow he has less net worth than the Doom, who is up at 6.5. I think it's another reason I love to see the Doom being picked, right? Is because once you max out the Devour, which you usually do straight after the Scorched Earth, your gold intake just shoots through the roof.
These kills are happening all over the map, and
Yes.
this Legion Commander has gotten 3 successful duels without Blink Dagger.
And in
And
fairness,
he's
like...
standing in front of the tier 3 right now.
In fairness, he just keeps running them though, right? We've seen plenty of those duels not be wins, but he's been basically running at heroes as soon as duel is off cooldown. And there's no way of stopping him, because you either glimpse him, or you glimpse the Lycan. And either way,
I feel
you
like
die.
this initiation shouldn't work as well as it's working against Viper, Disruptor, Rubik Telekinesis,
Oh, God.
and Beastmaster Hawk and Vision.
Mansel's just dead to the army. Nefrit just sat back and watched. He's like, yes, my children, you've grown. Do what you want.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have to shapeshift. Now he's going to.
Yep, because they see an opportunity. Viper Strike's already been thrown out. RP will not be held back. 19 team brought down. PO will just be ignored. Well, Magnus will be stoned up. Chu trying to move away. Prime Roar comes out. The buyback's committed by Viper, but Chu will still die. Nefrit stands his ground. BCC needs to be careful. Melo is like, he just wants the one tap. Still has that Aegis to work with, but no skew for 4 seconds, so he has to back away. BZZ, for once, does not die.
Has been killed.
I like the Nefrit. He could have fought longer, right?
Yeah, but it's not worth the risk.
Reasonably, he could have kept going, but it wasn't worth the risk. Yeah, they're so far ahead right now. They're up by 12k at 20 minutes. That happened really quickly. He can only throw his lead, so just chill out. They'll very naturally take more and more map control. The Dusa is going to be in a position where she's the only one farming. This is pick off
There's the one.
Legion Commander's big.
Yeah, I don't know if they can get it, though. They don't have the Prime Rule. They've got the lift. Looks like they've got enough flows to bring him down as they brought enough heroes. They also stole the Presti attack, so that should be pretty handy against Nemiga. especially once the RP is back and available.
Man, these this Lycan, him being so successful in every single shapeshift, just boosted his levels, which means he gets shapeshift even faster, which means he has shapeshift already for this fight.
Yep, and he'll activate it because Medusa is doomed up, forced to fight now. The Chain Frost bouncing around a little bit, will bring in low enough that she can't kill off Astral, and Spear Fury will find Vanscore. Slowdown comes out from the Echo Saber, kinetic field down, but he can't survive long enough. The stolen Chain Frost gets thrown out, but there is no confusion amongst the Lycan and his army. Sends them off to one side. We'll reconvene for a push on the mid lane. I think you just go high ground here, right? Like, you're not concerned at all. The price of killing the
You're just
Legion
gonna
is
go
high.
for tier 3. I'm not sure if you could actually force it past that. Maybe even the glyph is enough to stop them. Probably is.
They should just back away now. Aegis is going to run out soon anyway. Legion already shoot top, so you run the risk that Gentlemen just 5-man body you as soon as they're up. Although, I mean, yeah, Vanscore was thinking about that. He's like, do I really want to glimpse him back? I do. And he'll just TP away. Perfectly timed. The net wouldn't do anything anyway.
Okay.
Disrupt.
We're going to have Crimson Guard very soon from Legion Commander.
Which is surprising, because you expect BZZ to be the one there first, and he might just, but this Legion also has a pipe.
Yeah, that's so much team fight. Completely neuters the Viper.
Medusa as well won't really do any damage anymore. You already see that she's bought the Eagle Song, so not that confident to go straight into the Skadi either. I honestly can't blame her either. Like that comment I made, I think it matters so much. Like Skadi, with the changes with Abyssal as well, it just felt like Ice Frog really wanted us to pick melee heroes. And he succeeded in that. But the weakness side of things is that ranged heroes are underwhelming if you don't have a drow now. Oh, I mean, able to just back off in time. They couldn't find the Rubik. He's going to go deep and try and get some wards down, maybe. What's he got? Is he actually... Oh, he's shooting the core out. I thought he actually had the Glimmer Cape completed. That would be huge for them as well, because then Viper... You mentioned he's already been muted by the Legion. At that point, he just does no damage at all. Ever.
Yeah. Hopefully... Damn, who's going to step up on the Dire side?
BZZ maybe, if he was going for a blink, would be my answer, but he's not. It looks like they're committing to this idea. They just have to slowly roll for their opponents. But now Prime Roar coming out on Astral. He did dodge out the Static Storm. They've trapped the puppy in the pen, but doesn't care too much. The Chain Frost is bouncing around. It'll come straight through now, and the Doom has already been thrown out of the fight. RP, big Mellow, just wipes through 3 heroes straight away. Medusa runs towards her base, and Nephrit will run down and kill off the Viper. BO all alone in his base, and look at this. Nemiga just outside, ready to knock on the door. Disruptor already has to buy back. They're thinking about going for that duel, but none to the tier 4s. They say no, just take the racks. They don't have a Static Storm anymore. They have no way of repelling us. Crimson Guard. It all just tickles mildly. Just the gaze, locks her in. Duel comes out. Skewer. Mellow, where you going? Kinetic Field locks in his team. I'm not really sure what that part of the play was, but they'll still be able to kill off the Medusa regardless. I think that was just him wanting to show off his width on his skewers, if anything.
I guess so.
I checked him, I was like, he's not even 20
Sure.
yet. He's just... So he's not even flexing the power of his skewer range here. He's just... I don't know. He really thinks
like
the
he's about to get
dangerous.
20 plus Aghanim Scepters, so...
Good lord.
He hasn't even gotten to the scary part of Core Magnus, where he's just always able to chase down heroes, but simultaneously he's tanky and mega mobile, so it's hard to lock him down and actually kill him. And, you know, Gentlemen do not have... They have a decent amount of disables, but not enough to deal with a 3.2k HP Magnus with BKB. They're just not going to kill anybody for the rest of the game. Like, they're not going to kill any cores.
Maybe they find Ferg.
Maybe they'll kill a support, but...
Of,
At best, they'll get a Legion Commander kill, you know. But what I've seen from Nephrit, he is far too careful. He's playing like a very flawless carry game. That he's never going to get caught with his shapeshift down.
No, and that's kind of the fragility of Lycan in the carry role, right? Is this type of hero that can stonewall itself if you commit 1 or 2 bad shapeshifts. But so far, Gentlemen have more or less just been walking into him. You know, strolling through the jungle, a nice innocent day, and all of a sudden a wolf just pounces out at you. And also this wolf packs a punch, even for the buildings now. He has the Assault Cuirass complete, the Orb of Destruction as well. Just a matter of waiting for the next Roche. Because you know that Gentlemen won't feel confident ever coming out of their base. This really is just a matchup of mobility versus kind of stonewalling. However, it seems Gentlemen made their wall out of dung or some crap like that because there is no hold. It just feels like Nemiga pushes against them and they fall over every fight. There's the gaze on the BZZ. They are moving in. Doesn't want to slow down by the ball though. However, Astral jumps forward, net comes out, and there's going to be a glimpse away, so there won't be a dual win. But the primal roar's been thrown out. BZZ, that's a please let me live roar if I've ever heard one. So leave me alone.
So he's just screaming, "Leave me alone!" And they're just frozen in place for a moment.
Yeah, they had a kind of moral dilemma moment. Like, is this wrong? What we're doing here? Is this what bullying looks like in Dota? Just let him live.
This is some real cyberbullying for sure.
Like, he's already suffering enough. He's not making the Skrilla from BZZ sets anymore. Just let him go back to his base. Let him hide in his hovel. We'll wait for Roche, and then we'll just come back and kill him.
So part of the reason the patch is so snowballing is that I think IceFrog wanted to, if you think about 7.2.3 and like the overall changes that were made, I think IceFrog was tired of games being kind of won by 45 minutes, but not ending until 70 minutes.
Yeah, it was kind of like teams being over-secure, basically.
Yeah, it's like they just kept on building and building. So IceFrog instituted like some snowball mechanics, like the outposts, like neutral items are in a way a snowball mechanic as well. Because if you have control of the map, like you do right now as Nemiga, you're gonna get your items first, and maybe the enemy team just isn't going to get their items at all. Who knows? Insert Roshan, right? You have Aegis, then you had Aegis and Cheese, now you've got Aegis Cheese, Refresher Shard, as well as Aghanim Scepter upgrade thingy. All of these sort of things are giving you more and more of an advantage and telling you to end the game faster. And that's why, you know, games feel very snowbally in this regard, and that's why it feels like Gentlemen are in an impossible scenario. Several patches ago, you would see Medusa high ground and say, they still have a chance, but as it is, this net worth lead and experience lead builds up so quickly. Oh, hey, there's another one, level 30 talents, right? That's another one that says, okay, here's another peak of power. Here's another big boost that you get. Go end the game. And so, in previous patches, you could say Gentlemen still have a chance, but in this patch, it's just
it's fairly definitive.
You know, yeah, it's 4 or 5 minutes of holding the base this effectively and keeping them entirely shut out inside of their own base is like, it's massive. You get such a big lead so quickly that
I appreciate
Gentlemen,
it though.
You can't stay in your base.
Exactly.
Right?
I appreciate it.
You have to smoke out and go outside.
Because it felt like I hate this kind of, you know, playing to survive mentality, right? Like there's times where you have to play defensive. I get that, but this whole idea, like, what are some of our biggest nightmares? There's those games where Tinkers make the bases impenetrable with March of the Machines for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. It's like, well, this isn't fun. This isn't engaging Dota. This isn't active Dota. This is just someone waiting for one team to make a mistake rather than trying to be active with a play themselves. Whereas in this scenario, there's more lost if you just sit on your high ground, as you were saying, with, you know, the outposts, the neutral items, the XP gains, and how hard it is to sometimes find your gold on the map anyway. Primal Roar for the Hellbear there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Bounty runs every 5 minutes, 4 of them. That's another way of just snowballing the game. The sad part is Gentlemen's lineup can't go outside their base at this point because it's giving up their best advantage, which is their range.
Glimpse. Yeah, they won't crack that. They're
Viper can shoot very, very far and so they want to sit on their
the
high
new
ground.
sniper. Well, of course.
So, yes, exactly. He's the magic damage dealing sniper. So
No growth bow this
they
game.
can't
though.
give up that advantage.
See, that's the reason. That's clearly the reason that 19 team couldn't bounce back. He didn't get the growth bow. The most crucial item in the game for a Viper. I don't know how it would feel when I see Dooms with the craggy coat, by the way. It's like, it's really good for your hero, but now you have, like, no attack speed.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes,
you only need to attack to get off Infernal Blade, right?
Yeah. Well,
you only
you've
need
gone
to get
for
that
the
off every
attack lead.
4 seconds. So as long as your attack speed isn't so bad that you're attacking every 5 seconds, then that's a problem.
You know,
But if you
I've
can
done
only
that.
attack every 4 seconds, that's good enough for Doom.
I've done that, Cap. I found the enemy team as craggy coat once, and we had a craggy coat. And it seemed like a good idea on Doom, because you never have any armor. But then I could never initiate.
And then you attacked an Enchantress.
You're like, oh no. Please stop. No, that was the game where I built Ags and said this will be good against Enchantress. And I remembered I had to hit her first. Mistakes were made that day. I'm surprised we haven't seen more players experiment with the Ags. It feels like it's really strong, but awkward to fit into Doom's build.
Yes, a lot of Aghanim Scepters in the game right now are traps, where you think to yourself, oh, that is good. Doom's is one of them. Doom's has a very good Aghanim Scepter. And you think to yourself, oh, this is really good. He now has an innate stun, so I don't have to carry around the Centaur creep, right? I can actually just rely on Infernal Blade stunning somebody. That's pretty hype. And then on top of that, like increase in damage, all that sort of thing, really cool.
Yeah.
Problem is, you build it as your second or third item, you're missing something. What are you missing? Are you missing your Blink Dagger so you can't initiate? Are you missing your BKB so you can't follow up after you initiate? You know, you blink in, you doom somebody, but then you get stunned, you can't actually chase that person down. Okay, so those are your very core items. Okay, what's next? Well, what about your armor problem? You're still a very low armor hero most of the time. You actually, you just suffer to physical damage by this point of the game, right? About 35 minutes, physical damage cores are going to start coming online. So you're like, well, I kind of need a damage or an armor item as well, right? I need a Shiva's or a Lotus Orb to be able to help myself out. And so if those are all your core items, then Aghanim Scepter, it'll come after all of that, but most of the time it's over.
What did you expect?
And then you have another big issue, which is that most people probably have the BKBs by then, and you can't stun with the Infernal Blade through BKB. And it's not like they're ever going to make that change. So I feel like if they did allow the Ags Infernal Blade to work through BKB, it just becomes an outright broken Ags at that stage.
Right.
It's an awkward one. I like that they moved it away from being about Doom. 'Cause it used to be, the refresh, right? On the Doom duration, as long as you stay near. Which is like the extreme anti-fun. Whereas in super situational situations, I'm going to go with that statement, you can essentially kind of double Doom people is the way I kind of looked at it, right? You Doom one target and then you just chase after another with the Infernal Blades.
Yeah.
Looks like we've resolved the problems. Gentlemen, we're just trying to work out what the rest of the map looks like. They haven't seen it in a long time. It's like when you try to remember the first love from your childhood, when you were like, it's so long ago, I don't know what it looks like anymore.
I remember that first kiss. I remember that time I was able to farm ancient camps so long ago.
Medusa's going, yes, I love the triangle. And then someone's like, oh, wait, there is no triangle anymore. They split it up too much. Doom, jump in. Throws that exactly out into the Medusa and nets her up straight away. They're trying to jump in, but the Stolen Doom used against Legion before he can get the duel out. Medusa is not dying to this damage. Stackstorm's going to go down. Magnus might die for the cause. Goes down once. Legion Commander still trying to retreat, but trapped him. Will be healthy enough to get away. And now Mello with a BKB. Charges in. The double RP comes out. The Chain Frost. It's a game of ping pong. And Gentlemen aren't feeling very sportly. They are brought down. The racks will fall as well. The GG gets called. They realize it's over at that point. Nemiga take game 1.
Okay, so what did I say earlier? I said they won't get another kill, and then I said maybe they'll kill the Legion Commander. They won't kill any cores. maybe they'll kill the Legion Commander. And they doomed the Legion Commander, and it still wasn't enough. They stole Doom, casted it on him, which, by the way, lasts an eternity.
Yep.
When
Lovely
Rubik steals your Doom. And he still didn't die. So...
Yeah, that game felt grim from a very early point. I feel it's always going to come back to 19-teen. The catch out in the mid with 3 heroes you expect. It's the movement bot that basically stuck his team in the grave. Or, well, in the base, as we saw later on.
Yeah, your Viper just became a non-factor way too quickly. He was trying to establish too much dominance over mid, when usually when you take your mid tower, you are supposed to rotate to a side lane and assert your dominance there. So go kill the Legion Commander, take his lane, or more likely, go to the enemy safe lane and take that tower. You know, like force, you know, surprise the Lycan, Viper strike him, force him to use his ultimate defensively. And then once he's done that, go and take his tower. That sort of deal. But you know, he dies. He dies mid, then he goes bottom, dies to the shapeshift, which is used offensively to go kill him, and you know that's just kind of the game because they needed that Viper. They needed a big Viper in that game to draw it out so the Medusa could win.
Another thing I will say is a lot of credit to Nephrit. We mentioned it in the game. Like every time, making sure he got maximum value out of the shapeshift. This felt like one of those kind of masterclasses on how to play a Lycan in this type of game. Just farm up well, keep a little bit of pressure here and there, and then you get these kind of retracted fight moments, right? Where gentlemen are trying to push the early perceived advantage, and then Nephrit is just waiting to shapeshift every time. But that's only game 1. And Nemiga are 1 game up, which means we are 1 game away from every invited team to the playoffs being eliminated in the first phase of the playoffs.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Well, Cap wants the quick day. He's like, nap time. All right, guys, break time first, and then in a few minutes we'll be back with game number 2 between Nemiga and Gentlemen.